Roblox is a platform with millions of games across every genre you can imagine. But let's be real, a lot of them are overrated. For example, Pet Simulator. In this new series on my channel, I'll be diving into all sorts of Roblox games, seeing how they are, and expressing my full, honest opinion. This is brutally honest. Before we get into the video, I must explain a few rules. Before giving my opinion, I must play the game for a while to get a full opinion on it. Number 2, I cannot be biased at any point within this series. Number 3, I must break down the pros and cons and give feedback on how they can improve the game. Number 4, I must give the game a final score on a tier list from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. The reason I am doing this series is because I am bored and have nothing else better to do than roast random Roblox games. Anyways, let's get into the video. This is 3008. "3008 is a survival horror game located inside an infinite uni. Meaning, it goes on forever. I don't know, the developers chose to make it go forever. Don't ask me, ask the developers. Anyways, inside the game, you can find furniture, in which you can use it to build yourself a fort to protect yourself from any dangers, aka roaming employees. Oh yeah, they can only attack you at night. There are a few employees within the game: the regular employee, buff employee, and
Brian.
Hubert, Harold, which bullies me, and a few more I am too lazy to talk about. In the IKEA, you can find all sorts of food and drinks to then fill up your energy and hunger. You can also find medkits to heal yourself by the huge pillars that lead to absolutely nowhere. There are machines right beside the pillars where then you can get objectives from. I still have no idea what the objectives do or give, but I digress. The game has a few events such as Fog and Blood Moon, where entities either become buffed, nerfed, or anything special like that. During the day, that's the time that you can explore because there is nothing that can harm you unless it's a foggy day. Alright, now, time to roast and praise the game because I can. Before we get into the negatives, let's talk about things I like about the game. Number 1, the first few nights of the game are the most enjoyable and you get into the game quickly. Number 2, you can build within the game, making you have lots of creativity, aka a sandbox. Number 3, there are quests and objectives to do within the game at night, which makes you have reasons to go out even though I don't quite know what the quest's point is or what they do. Number 4, they have a hunger system, so you keep having to go out so you can survive. Number 5, the animations, sound effects, and normal VFX are all super satisfying and enjoyable. Number 6, there is a decent amount of randomization, like entities and the map layout. Number 7, there are special game modes which make you have almost a sense of chaotic feel within the game, as well as events to add on to that, like the Blood Moon. Number 8, the game is a lot more enjoyable when you have friends. Now, let's get into the negative. The first thing I need to talk about is how the game later on just becomes a waiting simulator. At night, once you've settled in, build a base that has no weak points, all you have to do is stay there to survive. I mean, sure, there's quests that try to make you go out, but there's no point in them, at least as far as what I can tell. Which brings me to my next point. The next thing, the game gets so repetitive once you've played for approximately 3 or more hours. By that point, you have a base, bunches of loot, and basically everything in the game that you could possibly have. Now, it just feels like when you leave and rejoin, it feels like you're just replaying the same game. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but once you've done it enough times, it gets boring because everything feels the same. The next thing I need to talk about is the lack of direction in the game. If you're a new player, it's hard to navigate what to do. I mean, sure, there is a tutorial, but it should be the first thing that you go and do. Like, it doesn't allow you to play the main game until you do the tutorial. And there's no direction what objectives or quests do. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting something or if I'm just not noticing, but I cannot figure it out. Now, this is a bit of a personal thing. I like a progression system and feeling like I'm earning stuff. This game has none whatsoever. Even though the game is supposed to be no progression based, either they add coins for surviving nights and doing quests, you at least maybe buy some special gears to just help you that stay permanently. A little bit simple, just something like that. And it'll make the playthrough more worth it and less replayable. And here's another thing. There's not really a goal other than survive the night, as long as you can. Or as long as you can in the game, if that makes sense. So, if you played the game for years, you're still at the same point as a new player. Nothing separates you other than experience. The last thing I'll mention is playing solo can get incredibly boring, because you're doing the same thing, but alone. The game seems to be built to play with friends more than solo. So adding a few new ways for single player mechanics may be helping the player base more. Now, even though the game has clear problems and issues, it is still a really fun game. I enjoyed playing it for the most part. Now I am going to discuss how they can improve these to make the game even better than it is before. First off, for new players, teleporting them to a tutorial place right away, and even if it's quick, teach them the fundamentals on how the game works. Secondly, when I do quests or anything, add a clear message on what it does. Maybe at the bottom of the objective it says a reward you get. Adding a simple progression system would pull more players. People love to show off things they've earned. And even if it's small, people still love earning things themselves. This could be simple by getting coins, surviving nights, doing quests, etc. But to be able to purchase items or special things within a shop that stays permanently is not a bad thing to have. Add in long-term goals, like special modes only unlocked for people that have played for a long time. Like, you have to do certain special quests, maybe to unlock a certain game mode. Right? Lastly, for solo issues. Now, I don't know exactly how you can get the solo player base, make it more fun. But first off, I know there's a whistle. But if they're solo, maybe to give them a hint where other players are, right? Now, this is my opinion. You guys can discuss your own changes that you want to make. You guys can make fun of my things that I wanted to add. But, yeah, let's move right on to the final verdict and onto the tier list. Now that I'm done ranting about this game, let's get into my full honest opinion. For every game in this series, I'll be doing the same format: creativity, enjoyability, replayability, polishing, and late game experience. All are out of 10. Before I do that though, let's talk about the game again, 3008. 3008 is a survival-based horror game with lots of creative freedom, but with a few lacking problems, which I dove into earlier in the video. With everything put together, it is a solid game. Very enjoyable and keeps you playing for hours. However, it lacks replayability, which I mentioned earlier, so once you leave, and you probably won't come back once you leave, since there's not much to do. Anyways, here's my ranking. For creativity, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Enjoyability, this is 7.5 out of 10. Replayability, it's not that great, so I give it a 4 out of 10. The polishing for the game, like the effects, animations, etc., are all very solid, and I give it an 8 out of 10. And lastly, the late game experience is not that great, 4 out of 10. And then for my final verdict, aka my final thoughts, the game is very solid, but I give it a 7 out of 10. Here's the tier list. At the end of the series, I'll provide the link to it. But here is where we put 3008. 3008 is a solid 7 out of 10, which is a very solid spot for a first game within the tier list. Can't wait to add more games to this and letting you guys have a chance to use this tier list. Let's get to the outro. If you haven't played 3008 yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. Despite my rant about it and its flaws, it is still a very well-made game and high quality overall. That wraps up the first episode of Brutally Honest. For episode 2, drop a comment with the next game I should cover. Whichever comment gets the most likes, that will be the next pick. Thanks for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe because this video took a long time to make, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.